This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no! The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy cootie coming at you.
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again!
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Great afternoon, Greater Lansing and beyond, and welcome to The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Nothing like live radio, Rob. You never know. Never know what's going to happen, right? You can sit there and think it's going to be kind of a dull show, and then you get something people talk about for weeks, and you can have what you think is a perfect show, and then someone doesn't get the memo. That happens too. All right. 82 degrees here in mid-Michigan. Beautiful day today, if you like clouds. But I've seen a lot worse for this part of August, and it's always basketball season for our next guest, right? I'm not talking about Deshaun Tate. I am talking about Rod Barmack. The Final Four is not on the schedule. Might be on Michigan State's schedule this year. We shall see. Rod, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jack?
How's your summer? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you heard me, if we cut out or what. I just asked how your summer was.
Yeah, you did for a second.
Okay, how's your summer?
Oh, good. So far, so good.
Okay. I saw your partner, Eric, at Moneyball, and I like to say he was taking copious notes, but he was observing everything, and I'm sure that was fodder for your podcast. What are you up to this summer in terms of the breakdowns? Have you started that, or have you finished that yet, team by team?
Well, I guess we got to check with the NCAA and with the federal and state court systems to know if I'm actually done. In theory, I'm done.
Yeah,
prepping for it. We've recorded, I think, 3 already. They're in the bank.
Right.
I'm praying. I've already had to update a couple of them since I wrote the previews. I've been writing the previews steadily for the last 3 weeks or so.
Okay.
And I've already had to update a couple because there have been personnel changes. But yeah, I mean, this stuff. And boy, it wasn't like it was predictable or anything that this was going to happen when the NCAA decided to not extend the 5-and-5 rule to the class of 22, was it?
Right.
Not predictable at all that we'd be here.
I think I heard you talk about that. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people right now, there's consternation. I don't know if you saw what Indiana did today.
I did not.
But it added its best football defender from last year, a defensive lineman who had 17 tackles for losses, and they thought that he was done. And Indiana, the only 16-0 national champ ever to be ranked 9th in the next preseason poll, and if they knew this guy was back, they wouldn't be 9th.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting to me, maybe first and foremost, because it seems, and maybe I'm missing something, but it seems to me like most of the action on this thing has been in basketball.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed as much on the football side, but maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention. But that is very interesting. They've also, I believe, added somebody on the basketball side, too, Sam Alexis.
There you go. I think it has been more on the basketball side, Rod, because football, I mean, they're in camp, right?
Right.
They're there.
Right.
And then suddenly you say, whoa, but this isn't a question of going to get somebody. This is somebody you had. He probably still got his locker.
He fits.
Exactly. So anyway, as far as Michigan State is concerned with this, and we've talked about the NCAA directives and the appeals being waged. If I'm a head coach right now, I'm not sure exactly what to do, but Tom Izzo knew what to do. And when this came down, from Colorado. He said, well, that's nice, and I really wish we had known about this in April, but since we don't, my team is set, and I have no spot. I don't know if he has money or not. He can always get that, I guess, but he also has made promises. And if you know anything about Tom Izzo, Rod, he'd die for a promise. So when he tells Cam Ward, look, right now we're seeing you in this role, it might be starting power forward. When he tells Jesse McCullough, here's what we see. You could be our center. You could play some at the 4. We certainly value you. You didn't get as much time as we wanted at the end of the year. When they go out and they get Anton Bonk, and they're paying him close to $3 million. That obviously there was a purpose in this. Now these guys have played together all summer. They've been working out together, and the camaraderie, the chemistry is as good as I've ever seen it. He's not going to tell these guys, well, you know what? Sorry, too bad, you lose.
Right.
And we're going to bring back Carson Cooper or Jackson Kohler. They're not going to bring back Carson Cooper because he's going to the Memphis Grizzlies. But Jackson Kohler, with the injury, now his status with Utah Jazz, not what he hoped it would be. So now he's got other opportunities, and he's a Spartan. He is a true Spartan. His dad is a true Spartan, but it's not happening there. So he's going to have some other opportunities, it looks like.
Yeah, and some very good ones. I mean, from what I understand, I had heard when this 5-and-5 thing was first being mooted, before they had ruled that class out, that he reportedly had a very good offer in hand from BYU, and now you hear BYU is involved again, Kansas, Kentucky. That tells you something about what kind of player Jax is.
Right.
But I think it's, my perspective, my 2 cents, it's a couple of things.
Yeah.
It's the promises, absolutely. And we all know, you've been around long enough, Tom Izzo takes that stuff seriously, right?
Right.
So, and I think Jackson Kohler and his dad know that. In fact, I know they do.
They do.
But I also think this is where I have trouble with some of the folks flying around on social media who can't distinguish between Shinola and other things. that you can't. It's not a video game,
right?
So say you bring Jackson Kohler back. Let's just say, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
Well, what's Cam Ward's role? But maybe more importantly, and other guys too, in a domino effect. But maybe just as, if not more importantly, are you better for having done that?
Right.
Are you a better team? Now, you talk about the chemistry and all of that being great. That's also a huge part of it. I am here to say I love Jackson Kohler. I think he did a lot of good things, especially the last 2 years for Michigan State, and I wish him every success going forward. I agree that he's a great Spartan. I think Cam Ward is a very different player than Jax, but I think when you add it all up, I think the Cam Ward I expect to see this year gives Michigan State more of what they need at that spot. Now, it's not a perfect one-to-one.
Right.
Again, they have different strengths and weaknesses, but I think Cam Ward's going to be special, and I think he's going to be really good this year, and I think his playing a bigger role than he did last year, if he plays at the level I expect him to, it makes Michigan State a better team.
And
so I think it's on that level it fails too.
Yes, and you would appreciate this. Again, some fans would not. They're only interested in having the most stars on the roster. But when this thing came down, and of course the first school that anyone thought of for Jackson Kohler would have been a return to Michigan State. And his first comment was, I believe to his dad, said, "Dad, I couldn't do that to Cam and Jesse."
Right. That's what I mean. He understands it.
He understands it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not a surprise to me at all. I think the one guy, I've heard people bring up Trey Holloman's name, and come on. He's going to come in and be the third. He's going to come and be a third string guard at 2 spots.
Yeah,
come on, because that's what he'd be. But the one guy, and we talked about this, I think, in the spring when this was first getting thrown around. Carson Cooper would have been the decision to make, but it was a timing issue. It was always that.
That's right.
And when the NCAA opted to handle this the way they did, that basically put the final nail in the coffin of Carson coming back. And if Carson had come back, I'm pretty certain their center group would not have all three of the guys they currently have plus Carson.
You're correct.
Somebody would have moved.
You're correct.
And understandably so.
Yeah, maybe more than one.
And I love and I love Carson. I think I said the other day, somebody asked me who the best guests are among players that we've had, and Carson's right at the top of my list.
Yeah.
Great guy, and I loved his story, his development over 4 years. And he, as opposed to what I was just talking about with Jackson, if you bring Carson Cooper in, you can make an argument that makes Michigan State better this year, just because of what he brings defensively. Put everything else aside. But we're not living in that world, and we haven't been living in that world since the moment the NCAA claimed that they weren't going to grandfather these guys in.
Right.
Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew he was going to put his head down and approach the draft the way he did and the summer league, and I had a strong feeling he was going to perform well enough that he was going to get at least a shot at a two-way, and that's exactly what's happened, and God bless him. Credit to him. He's moving on with his career, and that's what he should do.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. But I did have a chance, and don't always have this opportunity, but it was a special invitation to go and sit and watch a full practice, not a Moneyball practice or not right. That kind of a session, but a real Michigan State practice. And Rod, I have to tell you, I was impressed as I've ever been in the month of July.
Yes,
by a Michigan State basketball team.
I have heard this from a handful of people who are in position to see that the way that you were, and you're right, it's a very rare opportunity. There aren't many people that get that chance. But I have heard that multiple times, which in fact, somebody, I believe, compared the intensity to Michigan Week.
Yes.
Which if that's what you're getting in July,
yes,
that tells me you're on the right tracks. No guarantees of anything, but boy, if that's showing up now, that tells me everybody's head is where it needs to be. That says everybody is what we thought they would be as a player. The camaraderie, the connectedness is there. That's all great stuff, and a really good sign for what we're about to see. And my opinion is not changing. And my opinion is not changing regardless of what this 5-5 thing does for other teams. In my book, this is a Michigan State team that has every chance to win a national championship. I'm that bullish on them.
Yeah.
I think they've got it all. They got everything they need. Doesn't mean they will, but they have a chance to legitimately do it.
And there are teams that we have seen get to a Final Four, and you would not have said that about them, including some at Michigan State. But this one does seem to have everything it needs. I mean, I wish the coaching was a little more experienced. But that's...
yeah, they're a little green.
You just have to put up with that.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. But I saw a couple things, Rod, that I didn't expect to see. And I'd watched Ethan Taylor at Moneyball, and he makes good plays, and then he disappears, and then he walks, and then he runs, and he just... And I saw him going all out for 2 hours and diving for balls. I said, okay, so sign. He's being Izzoized early. Yep. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen every game that way, but that day, it was as if you had said, your house is going to burn down if you don't play hard.
Yeah, that's a great sign. And I think you put that together with the way he played for the U.S. national team, I thought was really impressive and opened some eyes after a weird year at Link. Weird in terms of the playing time he didn't get, the role he was in or wasn't in. I still don't know that I can make complete sense of that, but I was really impressed with what he did for the U.S. national team. And then to hear that kind of talk, look, the physical tools are elite with him. There's no doubt about that. So if he's getting Izzoized, as you say, put some money behind Ethan Taylor. Maybe not this year as the full package, but at some point.
And I was very impressed, and I know you're a fan of Jesse McCullough too, but his attitude. Sure. I mean, people bring up the end of last year, and he is no big deal to him. He is all focused on the future, And, he's winning games with 3-point shots. He and Cohen Carr were teammates this summer. And so they're talking about what they should do, and Jesse is going to, get the ball into Cohen for a tying basket, and Cohen says, no, you shoot it. And he did, and that was the end of the game. So there's that going. I think if you get a look at Anthony Avent, you'll have a real hard time figuring out why he was the fourth of the four, except that the other three freshmen coming in mandated someone had to be fourth. But his arms, it's like someone had pulled on him and almost pulled him out of the socket, right?
7'3" wingspan.
Yeah.
Reportedly.
And, I'm sure he has some development ahead, but anyone who thought that, well, there's a guy who under the old redshirt system you never would have seen. We went through this with Carson Cooper, and he was supposed to be one of those guys, and Anthony Avent is going to make himself minutes on the floor just because he plays so hard in practice.
I can't decide between he or Ethan Taylor, and it might be both of them, as to which guy is the most likely to pull a Draymond Green or Xavier Tillman, or Carson Cooper's another good example, where guys, when you looked at them as true freshmen, you said, they got potential, but I don't know where they play.
Right.
And by February, they're solidly in the rotation, and they're making plays in March.
Right.
In NCAA tournament games. I think both of them, I can make a good case for it. And that's the thing that I think when we go back to, are they a legitimate national title contender?
Yeah.
MSU's had a lot of deep teams. We know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that they've ever had a team where I can go 1 through 12, and I can't really make a good argument for any of the 12 not being somewhere in the rotation. They're not all going to be.
Right.
And it might change. It probably will change over time. But boy, when you're talking about, I think most people would probably land on the two guys we just mentioned, and then maybe Kurtang as the three guys most likely to be out of the rotation. Well, you're talking about two freshmen with immense potential and a guy who shot 38% from three last year.
Yeah. And Kurtang, we haven't seen him running all out yet. At least I didn't. But I can tell you, when you look at him, you'll say, man, what are you trying to be, Mr. Olympia? I mean, he has transformed his body in a way that I never envisioned being possible. And, there are three reasons why I'm encouraged. I'm trying to temper my optimism with this, Rod. But there are three things about this kind of depth, right? One is, if you have injuries, which Michigan State always seems to have, it sure is nice to have a C.J. Medlock behind Jeremy Fears. And you can look at this in just about every position. Another one is you're going to have the most hellacious practices because everyone is going to be competing for minutes, and the way you do that is how much do you impress the coaches in practice. The third thing is when people say, well, who are their starting five? I'm saying, well, who's the opponent? Because Tom Izzo's going to have four. I can see four legitimate starting lineups, and it can be adjusted whether you're playing Illinois or Iowa or USC, whoever the opponent is, right? And you may find it in the pre-conference games. They can line up different ways to take advantage of those matchups.
I think that's an important point. That last one I'd seize on a little bit. I was having this conversation with somebody else earlier today. Again, they've had deep teams before, but what's unique about this one is not just the depth, but the versatility that you have.
Right.
You can counter literally everything. They've never had two 7'1" guys at the same time.
That's right.
Well, they've got that now. They can go small if they want. They play Cam Ward at the 5 against certain matchups.
Could.
What guy at the 2 do you want? Do you want Jordan Scott? Do you want Josiah Jervis? Or maybe you want C.J. Medlock?
Yeah.
Or Kurtang. Let's not forget about him.
Right.
Where does Cohen Carr, is he purely a 3, or are you going to try and sneak some 4 minutes in? Caleb Glenn.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's a team that seems, at least for now, to have a potential answer for everything, and I don't know that we've ever been in that position. The national championship team, the biggest guys that played were 6'8", so they didn't have that. This one does.
I would caution everyone just for a second here, okay? Just slowing the roll slightly. There's this podcast I listen to called The Final Four is Not on the Schedule. And a lot of people now, I've forgotten what the name of your show is, and they think Michigan State is going to be playing in Ford Field a second time in the national championship game. But there are no guarantees when you get into a single knockout NCAA tournament, right? So you could wind up with a loss in the semifinals. You could wind up with a loss in the Elite Eight and have a fantastic team, and the wrong thing happens the wrong day. Somebody gets hot, somebody gets cold, somebody gets hurt. Lots of things happen, and the team that's seeded number 1 doesn't always win. In fact, usually does not win.
Well, look, I'll date myself, but for me, the fact that I lived through 1991 UNLV not winning the national championship is all the proof I need to know nothing's guaranteed in this thing.
Right.
Because if a team that was that overwhelming and looked like men versus boys more than any team I've seen in my life at this level, they didn't win it, anything can happen. So I'd agree with you, but I will say this. I do think the Final Four is going to be on the schedule. That's where I'm at right now. I mean, when the games start, we'll see. But I have rarely been. I would say the last time I felt this confident in a Michigan State team was probably the summer of 2000, coming off the national championship. But bringing in Zach Randolph, Marcus Taylor, and then all those veterans they had back. And that team was pretty good. I think that team probably was good enough to win it. They just weren't good enough to win it when they were in the Final Four.
Right. That's right.
But since then, and think about all the great teams that covers, I have not felt as confident about a Michigan State team as I do about this one since then. Just me.
Any other observations you have before we let you go, Rod, about college basketball this summer?
Well, the big one is what we kind of started with, right? Which is, when is the roster merry-go-round going to stop spinning? And, I would just say this. We're actually getting ready tomorrow to do an episode where we're going to talk about that in addition to some recruiting stuff. But what you've got going on now is you've got separate litigation, a federal case in Colorado, which you referenced. You've also got state court cases, at least in Ohio and North Carolina, and I may be missing some. There may be others. And then you've got this congressional bill that's floating around. And, there's questions as to, it looks like it'll pass the Senate, but everybody's going to go into recess, and Congress isn't going to be in session much the rest of this year. And when they come back, the Democrats may well control the House, so it'll be a different political landscape.
Right.
You've just had the Big Ten and SEC finally sign on to this thing. I'm not certain that it, even as written, that it does everything it needs to do in order to slow litigation completely.
Yeah.
So who knows where this is going to end? I mean, unfortunately, they've done this to themselves. I keep beating this drum. I've been saying it for years now. They refuse to accept what the obvious, to me at least, but to a lot of other people as well, solution is, which is to accept that they're employees, to bargain with them, allow them to unionize, thereby shielding yourself from any more antitrust litigation. And that's that.
Ron, I'm not an attorney. You are. But why does this seem so obvious? Why does it seem like this is as clear a path as you can find, and so many people can't see it? My sense is, when I look at the NCAA, and I'll engage in a little bit of tinfoil hat here for you. I look at this litigation. We mentioned 3 different lawsuits around the 5-and-5 thing, right? It's so obvious, to me at least, what's going to happen, right,
one way or the other.
Right.
I have begun to think that the NCAA actually wants this. they want a train wreck, and the reason they want a train wreck and they want all this chaos, and maybe even the reason they didn't grandfather the class of 22 guys in back in the spring, is they want to make it so bad that Congress feels they have to act and let Congress bail them out of their antitrust problems by giving them an exemption. That's where I've come to land on it, because nothing else makes sense.
Right.
And as to why they're so deathly afraid of admitting the truth, that's a question for them and their psychologists, because I can't figure out why administrators are so hell bent on opposing this. But they are.
Rod Barmack, the Final Four is not on the schedule, and it's the best Michigan State basketball podcast you can find. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll get you and Eric on the show sometime soon.
All right.
We're going to stay right here, I believe, Rod. I think we have Neil Koepke on with us, right? We do. All right. Longtime State of Michigan sports writer, Ann Arbor News, Lansing State Journal, MSUSpartans.com. He's been fantasy football treasurer for many, many years. I don't know if he puts that on his resume or not. Diehard Cleveland fan and My Human Hockey website. Neil, I have to ask you about the Cleveland Guardians, and they are coming into Detroit. Tigers get 2 series back-to-back with the Guardians and the White Sox. If they want to vault from where they are in 4th place up to 1st, I'd advise them to play well in those games. But Guardians always give the Tigers trouble. They have for many years. And do you see more of the same? Do you expect Cleveland to be there when the season ends?
At first, Jack, I didn't think it was going to go the way it's been, because, the Guardians have won 5 in a row against the Tigers.
Yeah.
And the 6th game was rained out, so there's another game coming up here. But now that the Guardians made a splash in the trade deadline situation, adding 5 players, including some really good bats, it has given Guardians fans hope that maybe this sluggish offense can actually be, rectified, and another starting pitcher that could put one of their other starting pitchers in the bullpen to give it more depth. So now I'm thinking the Guardians have a chance, and this could be the thing that pushes them over to the point of not only getting past the Tigers and past the Twins, but maybe trying to challenge the White Sox, who right now I believe lead the division by 3 games. But, God, there is like 7 to 8 teams, Jack, in the hunt for the wild card, including the Baltimore Orioles.
Yes.
And the other day, someone was mad. One of our, former insiders from out east was mad that the Orioles traded, and he said they're a contending team. And I went, wait a minute, since when are the Orioles a contender? Then I looked at the standings. And I went, oh, my God, they're right there at 1.5 along with the Tigers.
Well, the Guardians adding 5 players. What a novel concept, Rob. A team that's not in first place actually trying to improve itself. Maybe someone should send that memo on to Scott Harris as well. Tigers going in the opposite direction. And what is it, a game and a half now separating Cleveland and Detroit?
That's right. Yep, 1.5. Just like Baltimore, and right ahead of them, guys, is Minnesota and Texas. Texas is 1 game out of the wild card.
Yeah.
So, it is bizarre, and I don't think the Guardians are going to go far, just like if the Tigers would get there, unless a team gets hot, of course. And without the 2 pitchers that the Tigers gave up, that changes the pitching situation. So, whereas the Guardians do have the pitchers, they just have been lacking in hitters all season long. And it's like watching soccer, Jack, nothing ever happens offensively.
Yeah.
Just joking for all my soccer fans.
Yes, some of them will probably be listening and probably saying, Neil, how could you say that?
Exactly.
Some that we know, including one who I went to the Yankees-White Sox game with last Wednesday night, 1 week ago. Our friend Paul Shaheen had his season tickets, which we commandeered, and Haley Schoengart and her partner, television partner Eric Crawford. We went to Rate Field and saw The White Sox beat the Yankees in 12 innings. Looked like the Yankees had that game won 4 or 5 times, and didn't happen. And then the White Sox came back and won in extra innings again against New York the next day. So do you think that Chicago is for real, Neil?
I thought they would tail off, but now I'm thinking they've got the touch. They're just it's their destiny. And it's nice to see for a team that lost 100 games like 2 years in a row, to get it back shows you that if you develop and get a minor league system going and develop the right way, you got to make good decisions, obviously. You can actually become a contender. I mean, they're not the greatest team, but they're on track, and so maybe that gives a lot of help for Tigers and Guardians and the Twins and stuff like that. People that play teams that don't have a lot of money but can still do it with the right combination of picks and development.
And it doesn't have to be guys with star power. I mean, you look at the Dodgers, and they keep not just adding the Tarek Skubals of the world, but they keep getting guys from other deals or from the end of the draft. And next thing you know, they're stars, or they're being used as trade chips to get stars. So you can do it a lot of different ways. I'm looking at the White Sox here, and Miguel Vargas, right, the third baseman who's so good. A year ago, nobody could have picked him out of a witness lineup.
They could. No one knew who he was.
You go to Japan, and you get a player or two. There are lots of ways to do this, and but you have to try. Some teams aren't willing to try. They're not willing to spend the money. They're always in build to the future mode. And as one of the worst things you can be as a fan, Neil, is to be 2 years away from being 2 years away. And I see a lot of teams, and they're trying to sell the future, but they should try to buy the present.
Yep. That saying you use it for the last 10 years with the Red Wings.
That's right.
Yeah. Except it's 5 years away from being 5 years away.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
It's fun, Jack, the fact that we go into August, September, and we get our mind set on football.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm already set my mind on hockey. But still, to have baseball for the Guardians, that means stuff. And also the Tigers. So that'll be fun to watch. I know Fred Human is probably just loving this, the fact that of course, he's probably hating the fact that they lost those pitchers, and obviously, but you never know.
He's down on the Tigers now. I don't know what happened to him. Flipped the switch, and now he wants the Tigers to lose.
He does?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, I think they're fun to watch, and I like to listen to the broadcast, same as the Guardians. So I think it's going to be a fun, and whatever happens. If the White Sox win it, good luck to them. They deserve it because they've come a long way, and they've been in the first place most of the season. So once we get in the playoffs, then we got to deal with, the Yankees a little bit, and the Dodgers. And I would have loved to seen Skubal go to the Brewers.
Yes.
I would have loved to seen the Brewers playing the Dodgers with Skubal.
Yes.
And that would have been fun. But,
I would have settled for the Rays playing the Dodgers in the World Series with Skubal, but I think Milwaukee might have been able to beat them if they had Mizorowski and Skubal on the mound back to back. Yeah. When you look at where the Tigers are now as opposed to the other teams, no one's talking about the Twins, but they're hanging around too. Are we disregarding them at our own peril, or do you think that that's just a mirage with Minnesota?
I watched a couple of their games, and I thought they were a mirage team, and they found a way to win against Kansas City in the ninth inning with twice in a row, and I'm like, wow, where did these guys come from? Because all my Minnesota fans are always ragging on the Twins, and obviously the fact they haven't won a title up there in 100,000 years, I think we are sort of like dismissing them. We can dismiss Kansas City, but we can't dismiss the Twins because they're right there, and they play the Tigers and the Guardians the rest of the season probably 6 times too.
Yeah, and Twins' last championship, I believe, was 87, right? Yeah. So the Tigers' last championship was 84, and
I know.
We don't even talk about Cleveland's last championship.
Yeah, the last Guardians or Tigers or Indians, guess what? 1948. So as much as my Toronto fans, go crazy about the Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup since '67, and I always go, yeah, I know, but you know what? The Indians Guardians haven't won since '48, and I was there for it because I was 2 weeks old. But I don't remember whether Bob Costas was doing the game or who was whatever. But yeah, and they won in '54, the pennant, great record. Willie Mays makes a great catch, and the Indians get swept. And then, of course, a couple times with the Cubs, they had a 3-1 lead in the series, and that still stings. And I think they were like 2 outs from beating Tampa Bay, the Marlins, and that went south. And that night, Jack, I was working the State Journal on the desk, and I had to write the headline and put the story in of the Guardians or the Indians actually blowing the World Series, and then go home and start drinking heavily. But yes,
they could have beat the Cubs in 2016 in Game 7, right?
Yeah, could have beat them in Game 6 because they had a 3-1 lead in that series, and people forget that. And then they came back to tie it, and then they lost it in Game 7 in Cleveland on a Sunday night, which, fortunately, I wasn't having to work the desk. I was home on my couch morning, and I didn't feel bad because I love the Cubs. I like the Cubs, but still, why couldn't the Cubs have beat somebody other than the Indians,
I'll tell you what, I'm going to jump in here. I'm hearing all this, and one thing I will say for Neil is he is not a bandwagon fan. When you look at the teams that he roots for, the Browns, the Indians / Guardians, the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? I mean, you stick with your teams, and I highly respect that. No matter how bad it gets, you are with them till the end, my friend.
Well, the Browns, that's 64. So, Neil, think about this. Next spring, when the Maple Leafs don't win the Cup, this will be 60 years for you without your baseball team, your football team, or your hockey team winning the title.
Yes, I know. Exactly.
God bless you, Neil Koepke. God bless you, man. I swear.
And people ask me, how old are you? And I go, it's going to be 78. What do you want to see in your next 10, 15 years of life? And I just basically say, well, I want to see the Guardians win a title. I want to see the Lions and the Browns play in the Super Bowl back-to-back.
There you go.
And each win. And then I want to see Michigan State hockey win a couple, one more Ohio State football. And I think Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously, And, and it's I haven't had any of these in the last 30 years, 40 years. So what makes me expect that anything's going to happen like this? But you're a fan, you keep rooting, and every year is a new year, so you have a little bit of hope, Now, wait till next year type of thing.
Rob, if any two of those things happen, Neil will be saying, Lord, you can take me now.
Indeed.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. I'll be happy.
I just got a message, Neil, and when I introduced you, I think I mentioned something about Treasurer of Fantasy Football League, the Mid-Michigan Media Football League, one of the longest leagues that we have had, certainly the longest one I know, going way, 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 way back. We have more bands on this trophy than they do on the cup. But when you think about all of the people we've had in this league, and you've been there from the outset, I think, what is it that makes this league so good, so indestructible? We've had people come and go, but it doesn't really change. We're still going to be out at 1 North for our draft.
But not many change, and every now and then we added someone else. Yeah,
that's right.
I think that's it. The people that have been in for the longest period of time, and the fact that we meet up at a restaurant, bar, whatever, and that's the time we see each other. And we come from all over, whether it's Detroit, whether it's like the city, whether it's like online, people Colorado and stuff like that. So Larry Cernick used to do it way back when, and then he segued into hockey. So it's been fun, and every time I get to about the middle of July, I get that itch to buy that magazine, and suddenly, obviously thinking, okay, when are we going to have the draft? And it comes so fast. Yeah. 1 minute it seemed like it was June 15th, and we were just getting ready to say goodbye to the NHL and the NBA and so forth. And now suddenly we're talking football, So
right.
Yeah, but it's fun as usual. And every now and then people say, Don't you think you want to drop out sometimes? Don't you get tired of ISIS? That's what I love on Sundays is watching all these things.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, him being the treasurer, Neil, you being the treasurer for so long, I'll say this.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years, I've been getting a lot of money from that treasurer.
Yeah,
being the champion. That. Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, but being the champion 2 out of the last 3 years. Earl's Pearls. Thank you very much.
We have to re-examine that.
I know.
Something wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, Neil's been good to me. He's been sending me a lot of money through my PayPal. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you sent it to me early, and I sent it right back to you at the end of the season in January.
I'm really sorry we did this segment now. I was thinking it was going really well, and now you got to listen to Rob talk about his stupid team again. Okay, I get it. Neil, there was one thing you would tell people to make a successful fantasy football league based on our 30 years. What would you tell them?
I would say call you or call Ackerley or Rico because those are the guys that have seemingly won that have a formula. I just, I'm still battling like when to take a quarterback. Jack, and I read these football magazines.
Yeah.
And the magazines have no correlation to how we draft. They got quarterbacks taken in the 7th, 8th round.
That's right.
We take them in the 3rd or 4th. And I know one person who would take the Buffalo Bills quarterback to the first pick overall.
That's right.
It isn't me, but I know someone that would. So I would just say you just have to study up, have a balance, and hope they don't get injured, like most of my guys seem to do.
Well, we have one guy in the league. I don't want to mention his name, Ricardo Cooney. But when you think about drafting a quarterback, he drafts multiple quarterbacks early. It's not a super flex league. You can only play one, but what he does is screw up everybody else.
Yeah, he does. And then he dangles that extra quarterback about the middle of November to get like a running back or a wide receiver to fulfill his roster that might be injured. So, yeah, exactly. It's a different strategy. And like I say, he's won it a few times. But, there's no formula. Everybody seems to have one, but I don't know. Jack, if you were the first pick, who would you take right now?
Ooh. I would probably take a running back. I'd probably look at Atlanta.
Robinson?
Mm-hmm. I think I'd take Bijan Robinson. Yeah. I think
over Jamar Gibbs? Over Gibbs?
Yes, I would.
Would you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the Lions, as much as Gibbs does, they like to have a second running back. So there are some touchdowns that David Montgomery poached that would have driven me crazy. And I think that Isaiah Pacheco is in position to do the same thing. And I think the Lions' passing game is better than Atlanta's. So I think that Robinson and he'd be tough to beat. But there are a lot of guys. I mean, I could basically give you my top 12 picks. Not that anybody wants to hear them. Be much more interested in hearing Rob's. But, yeah. So the goal, I think, for this entire league, we should have an 11-team effort here to make sure that Boston Rob doesn't win a third time.
Exactly. Yes.
All right.
We'll make sure he drafts like 10th or so.
Exactly. We've already given him his first pick. It's Mike Alstott. So he's
that's not too bad if it was 1998.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Neil. Really appreciate it. And we'll be talking to you very soon.
Okay, guys. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
All right. Neil Koepke, my Human Hockey website. We'll be right back. And, Rob, an interview I've been waiting to do. Okay? I love people who are givers. I love people who sacrifice for others. I love people who are willing to take risks. And our next guest, one of my very good friends, Eric Drummond, is doing exactly that in Europe right now. He is driving an ambulance, which was donated from Poland into Ukraine to help a war-torn country get people to hospitals because the infrastructure there has been ravaged. And he has decided that someone has to do it, and why not him? We'll be back with Eric talking to us from Europe up next on The Drive with Jack.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull-ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Grab of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success. Check out our latest episode. We're joined by Michigan State basketball players Andre Hudson and David Thomas to discuss their playing careers and also being parents to elite athletes. Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, Spotlight Radio Network. The Drive with Jack, we're not driving ambulances. Guarantee that. Rob, my favorite word in the English language, just ahead of love, is we. My least favorite word is me. And anyone who has a we, not me attitude is someone that I want to be around, spend time with, and learn from. And our next guest is a perfect example of that, my good friend Eric Drummond. He had a long career in human relations, especially with the National Basketball Association. He's a great Spartan, comes back for homecoming wherever he is. But he's doing something much, much more important than anything he's ever done with the Alumni Association. Eric, thanks so much for joining us. Can you tell us where you are as we speak?
Hey, Jack, thanks for having me on. I am in Ukraine, in the city of Lviv, which is spelled L-V-I-V.
L-V-I-V. It sounds like a Super Bowl. So it is what time there? Is it midnight, close to midnight?
That's right, 5 minutes to midnight. That's right.
Well, your connection sounds better than mine does in Okemos most of the time. Can you tell us what you're doing in Lviv, Ukraine?
Well, I had traveled here a couple years ago. In fact, I was on your show to Ukraine to help out and help some people get jobs remotely, programmers and software engineers. And about 2 months ago, I saw something come across my feed that was an organization called Ukraine Focus, and they were looking for drivers who would drive used ambulances that were purchased in Western Europe and deliver them going across the continent to Ukraine and to the capital of Kyiv. And when I saw that come across, I thought to myself, "Oh man, you got no choice. You can do this. You've been to Ukraine. I live most of the time in Portugal now, and so I'm on the continent, and it just felt kind of like almost selfish if I didn't do it. So I signed up, and about a week ago, I flew to France and picked up a used ambulance just outside of Nancy, France, and really started trekking across continent. I was with about 3 other individuals. They were all in ambulances as well. And we've made our way across Germany. We were in the Czech Republic, the town of Pilsen, where Pilsner beer comes from.
Okay.
And ironically, my father at the end of World War II was in Pilsen when the war ended.
The same date? Same day?
Not the same date. That was May. No, it was in May. May 8th was 1945. But it was just, I don't know, it kind of came full circle for me. And then we traveled on to Krakow, Poland, which is an amazing city, probably the best city to visit in Poland. And then made our way to the Polish-Ukrainian border, and we went across the border yesterday. And I went through, and it was pretty seamless, about an hour and a half. But we had another crew that went through later, and they were at the border for 12 hours.
Oh.
And that was brutal for them, so I feel bad for them. But they made it through, and we have 10 vehicles, about 6 ambulances, and 4 armored cars.
Are you safer that way with 10 vehicles together?
No. So we do split up in 3 or 4.
I gotcha.
Convoy, because, it's a bit, and ambulances have been hit, and so we don't want to have too many people right in a row. But so far, it's been fine. The real danger comes tomorrow, because we are making our way to the capital, Kyiv. And just last night, they had maybe the largest bombings on Kyiv since the war started. 24 ballistic missiles hit Kyiv last night, and we're driving into it. So fingers crossed that things go okay. But one thing I wanted to mention is just today, what happened is just a happenstance as we're driving, Jack.
Yeah.
We got stopped along the road by a funeral procession. And I happen to have the photographer for Ukraine Focus. It's a nonprofit group, 501c3, U.S.-based. And she said, "Look, Eric, let's pull over." And so we pulled over and got out of the ambulance and sort of followed the procession into the cemetery. And we're kind of dressed a little bit in fatigue, so we blended in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we actually were there for 45 minutes witnessing the ceremony of a soldier being lowered into his grave, and it was really heart-wrenching.
I'm looking at these 4 pictures that you sent today of this funeral. I can't imagine the grief that would be in something like that, and I can't imagine the courage, frankly, to do what you're doing. I don't know what your life insurance company would think of this. But when you decided you had to do it, and you're a have-to guy, when you decided you had to do it, how scared were you?
Not Not overly scared. I mean, because I'd been here just a couple of years ago, I knew a little bbit what to expect, and it has heated up. Okay.
Yeah,
but
24 missiles. I would think that's heating up.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, and so. But once I was committed, then it is what it is. And I mean, there's not a lot you can prepare for. If you happen to be in a spot that the missile hits, then it was your time.
Right.
And so that's how I look at it. It's unlikely. It's like being on the golf course in a thunderstorm with a 1-iron. You're more likely to get hit, but it's still unlikely. And this is still unlikely, but it's certainly. I had to sign quite a waiver. To go on this, as you can imagine, before they allow you to go on. So, but they've already delivered Ukraine Focus. There's a gentleman, Brock Barmack, who started it, and just amazing guy. And they and the organization have delivered nearly 400 ambulances already to Ukraine over the last 3 to 4 years.
I'm looking at the picture of you standing next to the ambulance, and these are used ambulances, I assume.
They are. They're purchased Germany and France, and they're coming out of rotation. So they're bought at a discount. I think we try to negotiate that. Hey, this is going to humanitarian causes, so cut us a little bit of a break. And then if you're a driver, you're not just a driver for the ambulance, but you're also expected to be a fundraiser. So I set up a GoFundMe page, and I've had friends and relatives and people I don't know who have given to this cause that goes to purchasing the ambulance. And people have been very generous, and I've been overwhelmed by what people have contributed.
Can you tell us again where that is? So in case someone wants to help, they have a few extra dollars sitting around here. Maybe they can find it.
That would be great. I mean, really, probably the easiest way is they just Google Eric Drummond, Drummond, and then Ukraine and GoFundMe. Okay. And I think I'll be the first one to pop up.
I would guess you would, yeah. So with these 10 ambulances, right, we talked about?
Correct. There's actually 6 ambulances and 4 armored cars. Wow.
So when you get to Kyiv, does someone from Vladimir Zelensky's government or someone there greet you? Is there some sort of a transfer protocol?
There is, and on Friday, so we get in tomorrow night, so it's Thursday night, and then on Friday we have a handover ceremony, and it's handed over to the Territorial Defense Forces. This is not the Army, but it's basically the civilian force in time of war that is facilitating the transfer, and then they make sure that these ambulances really go right to the front line. And the average lifespan of these ambulances is about 2 to 3 weeks up at the front line, and then they get hit.
2 to 3 weeks.
That's it. Wow. That's it. Yeah, and that's why they really. And we also put medical supplies in the ambulances. So in particular, tourniquets are needed because so many lose their limbs or get hit and need tourniquet so that they don't die, but they might lose their limbs. So that's who we turn it over to. There's a bit of a ceremony. I mean, it's the first time I've done it, but I've talked to people who have been on it. They have done up to 10 to 12 missions already. This is referred to as Mission 18.
Mission 18. Eric, I don't know if this would even be possible or whether this would be too difficult to do. But if it were, would you like to visit a Ukrainian hospital to see what these ambulances had done and how many patients they had transported to save lives?
Yes, in fact, I'll be staying in Kyiv another few days after we hand over the ambulances. And one of the things that Mr. Barmack is going to be doing is having us go to meet with, I think, an officer in the Ukrainian force who describe what these ambulances do. But I also think we're looking at, again, going to either a hospital or some type of facility that shows more directly how these ambulances are used on the front line.
So obviously you weren't blaring sirens, but how different is it driving an ambulance from driving another vehicle you'd had previously?
Not too different. I would equate it to a large van, not a minivan, but a more of a
panel van,
a regular size. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're all stick because it's European, so it's all manual, which I know how to drive. But other than that, it's not too bad. You can't see out the back window, so you have to use your side mirrors, that kind of thing. But no, and they're not in the best of shape. Engine lights on, and we had one fail today, and then we had to kind of tow in, and then we get it fixed though, and it's still better than we don't just junk it, we get it fixed. And this is the Ukraine focus, what they do, and I mean they deliver. They really he is not everyone that he has bought and the organization has bought. Everyone has been delivered. Some a year late because they had to be repaired, but everyone has been brought to Ukraine.
So how do you get back from Ukraine to Portugal, where you're living now?
That's a good question. You have to go, the only way to really go back is back to Poland. Okay. If you go anywhere else, you're going into Russia or Belarus, which is like a satellite country to Russia.
That's a bad idea. I don't want to do that.
That's a bad idea, right. So I'm actually going to take probably an overnight train to Warsaw. And I have a few people there. I'm going to visit in Warsaw. And then I actually, since I'm up there, I thought I would go to the Baltics and check out the countries of Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia.
Rob, we always talk about baseball trades and things that are happening in the sports world. I call it the toy department. Eric Drummond isn't playing in the toy department. He is playing in the real world right now. And do you get a sense of thanks or gratitude from the people there?
Yes. I mean, they, in particular, when they find out you're American, they're really shocked. And like, they look at you like, what the hell are you doing? We're at war and you're here.
Yeah.
And in fact, I remember that when I came here a couple of years ago, the border guard came on the bus and they were asking for passports for everyone, and no one knew who I was. And I handed my U.S. passport. And he looks at me and like, American? I said, yeah. And he got the supervisor. Supervisor comes on and says, American? I said, yes. He said, CIA? I said, no. He said, press? I said, no. He said, why are you here? I said, I'm here to help. I'm just here to help some people get jobs. And he passed me back my passport. He says, CIA. So he wasn't buying what I was selling. So I think they are surprised but I think they're kind of like, what the hell are you doing here? And when you say you're here to help, then I've had people come give me hugs and like I'm buying some vegetables, a watermelon. We bought one today, and the guy saw what we were doing, and he wouldn't let us pay him. And this is a guy just on the side of the road that clearly is not. He's just earning a few bucks here and there, and we're trying to pay him, and he wouldn't take it, Jack. He would not take it.
So the casualties of war and what you see on the streets, can you see where bombs hit? Can you see where fighting has ensued?
We just saw one burned out building that got hit, but this is what we expect to see starting tomorrow, because the concentration is a lot on Kyiv, as well as, of course, the front line in the east. But in terms of cities, Kyiv and Odessa to the lesser extent, but Kyiv's the capital. It's the hub. It's the industrial hub, the financial hub, and so that's where their focus is on.
We're talking with Eric Drummond, good friend, hero with a heart, and I don't know that many guys who could do or would do what you're doing, but I know who I would like to see do it, Eric. I would like to see all 100 U.S. senators take one of these ambulances and see when they came back to Congress how they would look at the war.
Yeah, there's nothing like boots on the ground to really see and experience, and it's a feel. I mean, going and just happening upon this graveyard funeral today was just hit home, and we were kind of speechless. I have other photos I didn't send you that are even more so, but it's one of these things that it's like this happens every day all across the country, all across their country. These young men who are never coming back.
I've known people who are scarred to this day by 9/11 and the carnage there with close to 3,000 casualties, but that was a one-day deal. And they rebuilt New York City and beyond. This is something that goes on, as you say, every day. It never relents. There's no end in sight, just the willingness to fight.
It's now a longer war than World War I.
Well, I have to thank you on behalf of all of our audience, our listeners, viewers, and a lot of people in America who would love to help in some way, but they don't have the ability or the wherewithal to do what you're doing, and can't thank you enough. So I'll get a full debriefing when you get back to the U.S., and if you get back here this fall for football and more, can't wait to see you.
I'll be there in October. I'll certainly see you, Jack. Thanks for having me on.
Eric Drummond. Wish I made more like him, Rob. I don't know that many, though. We'll be back.
Powerful stuff, Jack. Powerful stuff.
It's I have a hard time driving home. This guy is driving through the missiles. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk baseball and more, starting with my best friend, Marty Makinen in Bethesda, Maryland. Be right back on The Drive with Jack.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Meadowar Jewelers.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull-ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graf of Okemos. They're making friends.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Rob, I won't know this for sure until I go back and listen to it tonight. But I think that was one of my favorite segments we've ever done on this show.
Yeah, you're giving your best friend. I know he can handle it, but man, what an act to follow after that.
Yeah.
But I know Marty can handle it.
Well, he's a global traveler, and he's a guy who has helped so many people in terms of global health initiatives. Very proud of him as well.
He was just congratulating me on the Jake Rogers deal that brought the best backup catcher to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, it's funny. Our friends, Larry Herman and Marty and I, we talk about some of the Tigers' ne'er-do-wells. And Marty was responsible for Javi Baez, which is a full-time job. And Larry Herman was responsible for getting Jake Rogers over 200. But Larry was able to get a pitcher for the Tigers with a 0.00 ERA.
Undefeated.
Yeah. And Marty hasn't been able to do that, although Javi's batting average has been close to that at times. Marty, welcome to the show. First of all, good news for you after your back surgery. And it looks like I'll be seeing you for a pair of Dodgers-Tigers games late this month.
Yep, that's the plan, Jack, and I'm really pleased to be able to fulfill that. The second of those games we planned before the season began.
That's right. That was a goal, and now we're adding to it.
And hey, you're going to get to see Tarek Skubal pitch.
Not necessarily.
What do you know?
No, not necessarily.
You could.
We could.
You have a good chance of seeing it.
Larry Herman has actually gone through this and tried to map it out through the entire month, right? And he thinks either because of the natural rotation or what the Dodgers might want to do, or Skubal or Major League Baseball, that they will not have him pitch against the Tigers. I disagree. I think if there's any way that they can make that happen in terms of Fox on
TV.
Saturday night or NBC on Sunday night, if they can make it happen, it's happening. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unravels, kind of like the Tigers pitching staff. Even though the Tigers are now 1.5 games out of the wild card and 4.5 behind the White Sox, they're closing in. And if they could just subtract the month of May, Marty, it'd be right up there with the Brewers and the Dodgers.
No kidding. And I think the Tigers are trying to set up the rotation so that you'll see Jack Flaherty on Saturday.
Oh, no. We want him to be still on the injured list until I leave, because that is a guaranteed loss. Now, 0-9, Jack is, when I am in the ballpark. So I think that he is going to make sure that I am detained, that I am not allowed into Comerica Park if he is indeed pitching that day. What was your take on the Skubal trade? Let's start with that.
I think the Tigers did very well with that trade, since they're essentially trading him away for the last 2 months of the regular season and the postseason, and they got back a very serious, very likely star player in Zaire Hope.
Yeah.
To add to their outfield, that's going to be a part of making them a really formidable lineup next year.
Tigers need some hope, but if you put Zaire Hope in with Max Clark and Riley Green, that would be a little better outfield than we're used to seeing, assuming that the young players progress, right?
Yeah, and of course, I think Hope has all the makings of an eventual star, and his first year in the major leagues may not be at star level, But having Max Clark, Riley Green, and Zaire Hope in the outfield, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Was Zaire Hope drafted as a high school player? Do you know what his background is?
No, I don't know a lot about his background.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was even drafted by the
no, he was not.
By the Dodgers, right?
No, he was
the
not.
Cubs?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Garvey was a guest on this show yesterday, and he's a big Zaire Hope admirer. He says, Tigers have got a player you're going to be watching for a long time. But I was thinking if he played college baseball and he played in the MIAA, he'd already named a school after him.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All we need is a Calvin, but they're going to be hard pressed to come up with a Kalamazoo to make it 3 MIAAs in the outfield.
That would be very tough. Well, you could get an Adrian, right? You could get, you could do a few things. Yeah. What about Casey Mize? And that was a last minute, literally, deal with the Padres. I think it was 5:59 when the paperwork was submitted. Did you expect that to come down?
I expected Mize to go. I don't know too much about the two left-handed pitchers that the Tigers got from him, Cash, Mayfield, and Jackson Wolf. But I know one of your bugaboos, and rightly so, is their relief pitching. So that the Tigers, by adding 4 strong arms, not too far from the major league level, with Ryan and Smith in the Skubal deal and Mayfield and Wolf in the Mize deal, have a chance to have from within some real strengthening. Plus, they're going to have a lot of cash in the offseason that they can expend on a free agent, and so their relief corps should get a major overhaul from this season.
Well, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, they've blown 18 saves now in the 7th inning or later, and I'm hoping that one of these 4, Marty, 2 would be asking a lot, but I would settle for 1. If one of these 4 turns out better than Kyle Finnegan or Kenley Jansen this year, that can only be a plus, right?
Yeah, and I know you've quoted me on Finnegan since he came from the Nats, and I see a lot of him, or saw a lot of him here. Finnegan could be part of a bullpen that's strong, but he just can't be the key guy.
Yeah.
Because, as we've seen, he disappoints if you try to make him the key guy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't just jettison Finnegan, cut him from the squad, but I might with Kenley Jansen because he's clearly at the end of the trail.
We have been watching the Tigers since probably the late 50s. I think my first game at Old Briggs Stadium was in 1958, and you were right around that same era. Do you remember a Tigers rookie, a position player? This would be after Al Kaline, and we're not counting Mark Fidrich, who would have a better rookie year than Kevin McGonigal.
I don't think so, because and my recollection is not that great on them, that Whitaker and Trammell were good as rookies, but not this good.
Not this, no. Yep. That's right. It came a little later. Trammell was very thin, had to fill out. Lou had to figure a few things out. And when it clicked, they were the best double play combination in baseball for a long time, but not the immediate impact that we've seen with McGonigal, right?
Right. And, of course, we know about the impact that Al Kaline had, but we weren't really yet cognizant of what was going on at that time.
Right. That's right. Tough for us at age 3 to really figure that out. I'm going to give you another one going way back. Can you remember a guy emerging and developing from a player to a star like Dylan Dingler? The only one I could think of, Marty, was Stormin' Norman Cash. In like 1961, he bats .361 and hits 41 homers, and he was just a guy. I mean, they picked him up in a a trade, a Steve Demeter trade, right? And then next thing you know, he's leading the American League in batting. But to do that and to be the kind of defensive catcher that Dylan Dingler has been, this is a second-round pick who's been playing like a 1-1. I mean, you compare what Dylan Dingler gives you compared to Spencer Torkelson. It's not close.
Yeah. No, but guys like Dingler is a relatively high choice, but you don't know the number that you're drafted at in baseball is less meaningful than probably any other sport. Of course, there's the Tom Brady and the NFL to be the exception to that. But Tarek Skubal was a 9th round pick, right?
Yeah. Yes, 9th round. Yep. Yeah.
And who could imagine a 9th round pick becoming a 2-time and potentially 3 or 4-time Cy Young Award winner?
Yeah, and before he really got it going with the Tigers, he has Tommy John surgery. So, how many 9th round picks have Tommy John surgery and then become 2-time Cy Young Award winners? I was going to ask you a question, and I wanted to float out to Denny McLain, too, but I figured I would get stuck with him talking about himself. Of all the pitchers the Tigers have had, and we didn't see Hal Newhouser, but we did see McLain. We saw Mickey Lolich for a long time. We saw Jack Morris. We saw Justin Verlander. We saw Max Scherzer. Where would you rank Tarek Skubal on that list?
He'd be certainly up in that group, but Verlander, for how long he was a Tiger and excellent, I think puts him at the top of the list. I mean, Max Scherzer is great, but I then got to see him be great even more in Washington. So I think of him. It's hard for me because I've seen him in both uniforms and be excellent. To think about him, but I think Verlander is the top. The top.
Verlander, Mickey Lolich, and Morris had the longevity that we can't quite claim from Tarek Skubal. And maybe if you add on 5 great years for the Dodgers, not that I particularly want to do that, but my nightmare with this, Marty, is that on either Friday or Saturday of this series, or in your case on Sunday, I won't be there for that. But for the first 2 games of this series, Skubal will pitch against the Tigers. He will throw a no-hitter, something I have never seen in over 1,000 Major League Baseball games. And the Tigers will miss the wild card by 1 game.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. And I've never seen a no-hitter either, and I'm probably pretty close to you in total number of games. Yeah. And I've been watching the Washington Nationals for a lot of them. Prime subjects for a no-hitter.
Right. Well, and I don't just mean by the team you're watching. I haven't even seen one by visiting pitchers, and there have been a lot of those involving the Tigers too. So, the closest I ever saw from a Tiger, Marty, I think I told you the story, was 1968, and it was a 20 doubleheader against Chicago, and McLain pitched the nightcap. And, it was just okay. But they needed someone to pitch the first game. And Mayo Smith's going around the clubhouse and said, hey, anybody want to start? And John Hiller said that, I want to do this. And he throws a 1-hitter.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hiller was one of those old school guys who was both a spot starter and did well at it, and an ace reliever and a multiple inning reliever as well.
Right. So. And those were the days. People can't relate to this now with specialists and closers and 8-man bullpens. And if you came in to pitch, when Willie Hernandez won the Cy Young Award and the MVP, both of them, in 1984, he had a lot of 3-inning saves.
Yeah.
You have to worry about 3 different pitchers screwing up. He just came in and said, okay, I got 9 guys. Okay, here they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen a no-hitter. I haven't seen a 1-hitter. But I remember maybe it was a one-hitter, a game that Sudden Sam McDowell pitched against the Tigers, where he just completely dominated them, and they barely scratched out a hit or two. And then another game that I saw where a pitcher really, really dominated was Pedro Martinez for the Red Sox against the Orioles, who had a 3-hitter. But those 3 hits were just the feeblest hits, and all the batters just seemed to be flailing against them. In both cases, complete games, something that's gone with the dodo bird as well.
Tigers were victimized in a no-hitter, Marty, in Baltimore, and the Orioles had multiple pitchers in that game. I think they started Steve Barber and finished with Stu Miller, and somehow the Tigers didn't get a hit. So, I'm hoping that does not happen when the Dodgers come in. It won't be long, and we'll have college football to watch, and the plan is that you will be in Spartan Stadium with a couple of our friends watching Michigan State and Toledo on September 4th, and then be in Michigan Stadium 24 hours later watching Michigan and Western Michigan, right?
That's correct. That's the plan, and I think we're going to be able to execute on it. And I hope it gets the Spartans off to a good start in the Fitz era. Yes. They definitely need to handle Toledo and Eastern Michigan before they get into the rest of the schedule, because they're only favored in one other game at this point the rest of the way. What's your take on what you've seen of Kyle Whittingham? And we go back through the few times that Michigan and Michigan State have both had first-year coaches. There aren't many. We saw it with Saban and Lloyd Carr. At the time, we didn't know if either one of them would be any good, and they both made the Hall of Fame. And then we saw it again with Mel Tucker, right? He came in. Well, he wasn't a dual thing, but he did win his first 2 games against Michigan. But we did see it with Jonathan Smith and Sharon Moore, both first-year coaches. So it isn't often that we see both teams debuting with new coaching staffs, but I think, and I was going to tell you based on what I saw in Chicago, both teams got exactly what they're looking for and what they need. Yeah, I think in both cases, really classy people and with strong track records as head football coaches. So it's actually quite fortunate for both schools to be starting with these kinds of guys. And, of course, Fitz is going to have probably a longer run in East Lansing than Whittingham will have in Ann Arbor, just because of the age difference. But things should be looking up, maybe not immediately this year, but for both teams over the longer term.
I will see you in 3 weeks, right? Won't be long. You'll be here, and I'll be picking you up at the airport, and we'll be heading to Comerica, and you'll be co-hosting a show with me, and can't wait. Excited about that.
Sounds great, Jack. Looking forward to it.
All right. We will be right back, and we're going to talk more Tigers baseball, Rob. Lots of Tigers baseball today. We're going to talk with Andrew Shauver, who did a terrific job with you when I was driving westward from Boston, and he was terrific on that show. And then Fred Thompson is going to join us, and he may be our most loyal, or one of our 2 or 3 most loyal listeners. Certainly, I think he does lead the free world and most Drive with Jack remotes attended. So we're going to talk with him about his beloved Tigers as well. Coming up next on the Drive with Jack.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back-to-school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graf of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graf of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Rob, we're going to finish up with a couple of diehard Tiger fans. And I was impressed by a lot of the work you did while I was heading back with my son and his wife and their 2 kids from Boston.
I appreciate that, but I always say the host of a show like this is only as good as his guests.
Absolutely.
And we have one of those talking with you here right now.
Want to welcome in Andrew Shauver, Pride of Perry, and one of my wife's favorite students going way back, and she had a bunch of them, Perry Middle School and the elementary school there, but also one of the great Tigers fans, and not just because he learned a few things from Steve Waite, but he has been following this team as closely as anyone. And Andrew, what letter grade would you give Scott Harris for the trades of Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize?
Well, thanks for having me on, Jack. I'd have to give him probably a solid B.
Okay.
I thought the returns met needs.
Yeah.
Our corner outfield positions, particularly in right, have been very unreliable, and our farm system is a little light in pitching prospects.
Right.
So, considering you've got two injury-prone starters who are rentals for sure, definitely testing free agency at the end of the year, for 8 weeks of 2 guys who, could end up on IL at any given minute. Tarek Skubal's not having, he's having a good year, but he's not having a Cy Young year. And he just had elbow surgery in his throwing elbow, 3 months ago. So considering all of those factors, I think that, the return was on par with what you could expect.
How would you feel, Andrew, watching Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize go against each other with the Dodgers-Padres Game 7 NLCS?
Yeah, it'd be weird. It'd be a weird thing to watch. Obviously, I think the edge would go to Skubal just for no other reason, talent, but also run support. I think Casey Mize would have a trickier time getting through that lineup. But Casey Mize is having a really good season.
Yeah.
And, they're both – there's something that I think a player probably gets when you're strategically picked. Like San Diego says, we're going to make a run in the National League against good teams, and we want you. We think you can help. And so I think that there's a boost that is available to a player when they realize that they're sought after, they're wanted, But that would be, I don't know, that'd be a really interesting thing to watch because I think both of them know each other, but pitching isn't like a lot of other sports because the pitchers don't actually face each other.
Right.
Their teams face each other, but,
How many Tigers fans do you think would be pulling for them, or would it be bittersweet, or they couldn't watch?
Tigers fans are pretty loyal, and both those guys are homegrown. In fact, they were, prospects at the same time and spent a ton of time in the minors pitching together. I think in general, you're going to get a lot of players or a lot of fans rather, that do pull for former Tigers. I think Casey Mize in particular, the Tarek Skubal situation got a little out of hand in the last 18 months or so, and I think there is a significant chunk of the fan base, including people that I talked to, who got a little bit tired of hearing about Tarek Skubal all the time, and everything Tarek Skubal did or said became a headline and stuff like that. So, I think that there is some frustration there. And I think also with the Dodgers, the situation with the Dodgers, everybody looks at him in Dodger blue, and it's like, yeah, everybody kind of knew this was going to happen. Eventually Tarek Skubal is going to be a Dodger, so I guess here it is. So I suspect my own gut at the time would probably be rooting for Mize. I like an underdog, but the Dodgers are the Dodgers, and as much as I appreciate Tarek Skubal, the Dodgers. I don't overcomplicate things. It's the Dodgers.
Right. So where do the Tigers finish now? Losing their two best pitchers. They're the third best team in baseball since June 1st, behind only the Red Sox in the American League and then the Brewers in the National League. Do you think they continue this spurt against weak competition the rest of the way and sneak into the playoffs? Do you think they come up just short, or do you think that they really put it together and win the American League Central?
I suspect very much they're going to end up being in the hunt for a wild card. I do think they probably fall short just because of the number of teams that are going to challenge them. And I think where you're going to see them miss Skubal and Mize is when you get to the last 2 weeks of the season and you're playing hungry and you need some wins. You need 5 wins out of 8 or something.
Yeah.
And your rotation does not have those two guys in it, and so you miss a couple of Skubal starts in crunch time. I think that's where you're going to notice the difference. I think between now and then, if the team is going to keep scoring 10 runs a game like they have for the last week, then by golly, they may as well just win the whole thing. But they're obviously going to come back to earth a little bit there. And they've still got plenty of talent, so they still could go on a run. I just think the Sox are playing really, really well right now. So I do think that Chicago probably hangs on to win the Central. But I do think the Tigers will be in the hunt. I do suspect they're going to probably fall a game or two short. And the people who are, kind of shaking their fist at Scott Harris right now, are going to have something to say there because, if we had Mize and Skubal down the stretch, we probably would have snuck into the playoffs. I do think that's probably the likeliest outcome here.
All right. When you look at what Detroit might be able to do moving forward now, do you think Hao Yu Lee is a piece that we'll be watching for a while, or was he just a fill-in? What about some of the other young players that we've had called up here? You get a catcher come in He's doing some amazing things and behind Dingler. Nobody even knows what Jake Rogers. I forgot about him already. So
he's already been traded twice in the last 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. So with the young players they have, including Troy Melton, who is right there in terms of American League earned run average, and what an amazing story he has been. Are you seeing the foundation for a team that we're going to be watching in October for a long time?
Yeah, I think that's the part of this that I think the people who are frustrated about Skubal Mize, I think this is the part they need to kind of lock in on, is that the young core that the Tigers have is really, really good. Kevin McGonigal is a generational talent. Max Clark is going to be very, very good. Troy Melton is off to a start in his career that has numbers that are similar to Paul Steen's. I mean, he's 16 starts in, and he's got an ERA plus of 2.09.
Yeah.
You know, like the Tigers have won 13 of his 16 starts, and he's got a career ERA just over 2. So, like, Cater Montero is just 24. Jackson Jobe comes back this weekend. You know, River Ryan throws 98. And, you know, the only thing that's holding him back is Tommy John surgery, which every hard thrower in the major leagues, it seems, is going to have eventually on their elbow anyway. So, I think that this team, Howie Lee, I think he has settled in to a nice little role. He needs to defend a little bit better, but I think, you know, when Gleyber Torres walks at the end of the year, I think he enters the mix as a regular. I think Max Anderson down in Toledo is hitting really, really well right now, and so there's no shortage of guys in this organization that can play second base. Colt Keith is very quietly, I think over the last 30 days, is hitting like 320, and his OPS is getting close to 750 again. And Riley Green's made 3 All-Star teams in a row. So I think that this team is really pretty well positioned. Dylan Dingler is going to get MVP votes this year.
Yeah.
And so there's a ton of talent on this team, and as much as I think you set it up nicely in context, like watching Skubal and or Mize pitch in a NLCS against each other would rustle up some emotions. But at the same time, those two guys were not going to be re-signing with the Tigers this offseason. And what they got in return, plus the existing talent, this is not a rebuild. This team is going to be really good.
All right, Andrew, I have to ask you one non-baseball question here before we let you go. You have strong ties to Western Michigan University, right?
Yeah.
The
2 degrees.
2025 NCAA hockey champions and 2025 MAC football champions, right?
That's right. Go Broncos.
So Dan Bartholomew, Director of Athletics in Kalamazoo, is rumored to be one of the top choices, if not the favorite, to become the athletic director at Michigan State. What's your take on that? And if it happens, what would MSU be getting?
So it's an interesting thing because obviously I don't want that to happen. Because everything is working out so nicely at Western. And I mean, the Big Ten sporting scene is just, it feels like an entirely different business setup.
Mm-hmm.
The money's different.
Yep.
The television's different. The recruiting's different. The NIL is different. Like, it just feels totally different. But, you know, what I think Dan Bartholomew has done is he has helped make good hires of coaches who understand what it means to be successful in the Mid-American Conference or in college hockey is kind of its own landscape,
right?
Because they're not locally successful there. I mean, they're nationally successful. They're one of the most. I mean, they're going to be hosting an outside game. They're going to be playing Michigan at Waldo Stadium outdoors. So that's pretty cool stuff. But and that's it too. I think he understands how to entice the right kind of talent. Like he's got Brock Lowry playing quarterback for him. And Brock Lowry is not a top-tier quarterback. He's a quarterback who fits really nicely in the MAC. He's a legs-first quarterback, but he can hit a receiver, and he fits the system that he's in super-duper well, and the goal is to win the MAC. They're not going to crack. The game is not available to MAC schools in the Sun Belt in Conference USA. It's just not. So let's focus on becoming the best version of what we actually are and not try to compete at what we're not. Now, whether or not that pragmatic approach translates to Michigan State, which is, again, an elevated scene, everything intensifies, the fan base, the alumni, everything picks up. And plus, Western, Michigan State's got some PR baggage over the last 10, 15 years that Western didn't have. So,
right.
A lot of those translations didn't work. PJ Fleck to Minnesota hasn't really worked super great, and DJ Stevens going over to Western for Michigan State wasn't super successful. And so I don't know that it's an automatic win, but I do believe his approach has been very pragmatic and realistic, and let's take things as they are and be successful within them. That mindset does transfer. So if he ends up in East Lansing, it's not immediately obvious that he's going to do a good job or a bad job. You'd have to kind of wait and see what that pragmatism looks like on the ground.
Right.
Does he? What does it mean for him to get into the room with like Pat Fitzgerald, who is a very big personality and has had a lot of success over the years? Does that work, or is there a clash there? I don't know. That's a really good question.
Andrew, thanks for that insight, and enjoy the Tigers the rest of the way. Appreciate you being with us. And should Western Michigan start at season 1-0, dinner on me anywhere you like.
There we go. I'll be at the big house to view it. So
all right.
I'll be the first to let you know if it happens.
Sounds good. We're going to stay right here, Rob, and welcome in one of the most loyal listeners that any show could have. I think he still has the record. We're going to try to add to that a little bit this fall, but the most remote broadcasts attended of this show, and that would be our buddy Fred Thompson. Fred, we're talking about the Tigers trades. Might as well get your grades. What would you give Scott Harris for these two deals of Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize?
Well, first I want to say I'm in awe of Eric Drummond. I want to say that first.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I think he got what he could get. With Skubal, teams were getting a very good pitcher who's going to pitch 8-9 times the rest of the year. And it wasn't like they traded him in the before the season started, where they could have had a full year.
Mm-hmm.
They got decent. And this Zaire Hope, he looks like he could be a player.
Mm-hmm.
And if your outfield is Riley Green, Max Clark, who, if you saw him in the spring with his Mr. T starter kit, you didn't think, but he's played very well. And if you put Hope in right field, that's a heck of an outfield.
You mean to tell me that you like that outfield better than Kerry Carpenter, Javi Baez, and Matt Vierling? Or James Outman?
Keep going. And yes, the answer, until you get to K-Line, the answer is yes. If you got K-Line, Stanley, and Horton, there you go. You got to go back. That's 70 years. That's a ways back.
Yes.
That's the last outfield that could be this good.
You follow the Tigers religiously. How many times have you been to Comerica Park this year? How many times have you seen the Tigers play?
Well, twice at Comerica and once at Wrigley.
Okay. What's your record?
3-0.
Rob, I think the problem is Scott Harris has not given Fred Thompson a season ticket. For the rest of the games and into the playoffs. At least they got to get you there for the playoff games.
Well, I'm hoping that myself, if we get the playoffs, hoping myself and my bat get me there. I've been to one playoff game in my life.
Yeah.
It was the Friday night Kenny Rogers pitch against the Yankees.
Yeah.
And if you ever go to a playoff game, that was one to go to.
Yes,
that was
a great
fantastic.
One. That was a great one.
Oh my God,
2006.
I remember walking across the street from Hockey Town Cafe. The hairs on my arm were standing up.
I would say that game against the Yankees was probably my second favorite Tigers pitching performance that I have seen, and I did not see Justin Verlander throw a no-hitter, but the only one
I know where you're going. Were you in the bleachers in center field?
I absolutely was. 1976 for Mark the Bird Fidrich against the Yankees. Yep. Yeah, that was a night I will never forget, and I think there's some people still celebrating outside what it was Tiger Stadium.
The amazing thing is 300,000 people were at that game.
Yeah, that's right. The attendance only tripled or quadrupled every time the guy pitched. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was remarkable. And you think back, he did something to his arm. He came back, then he hurt his knee.
Yes.
And that's what caused his problems.
Yeah.
And now it would have been nothing. He would have pitched who knows how many years he would have pitched.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought he hurt his knee shagging flies, and then he hurt his arm after that.
Oh, you know what? Was it the arm? It's one or the other.
Yeah.
But they were very, but regardless, it was two very minor things that today, it's like Scooble goes out and gets a little thing out of his elbow, he's back pitching.
Yeah, right.
Throwing the ball 99 miles an hour.
Right.
Oh, and who lost for the Cubs last night? I didn't see that game. Did you?
I saw some of it. Yeah, it wasn't really his fault.
No, it was not.
You know.
It was not. And I watched it, and it was TBS must have been thanking their lucky stars they had that game.
Yeah. Well, if you have a 3-0 record this year as a Tigers fan, if you want the ultimate test of that, you should come to Comerica. Well, I'm there watching Jack Flaherty. That's right.
I've been there with you watching Jack Flaherty, and we lost.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
Your power outsups mine. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, there's only room for one
there,
Jack in that park at the same time. So, yeah.
Oh, and we had a few Jacks too. There's some balls went deep.
Yes, absolutely.
And still didn't win.
Yeah. So
I've been there with you for wins, been there for losses. But yeah, go ahead.
What's your take now on what the Tigers' final regular season record will be? 162 games.
I'm liking the way they're trending. They've committed to the young guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Max Clark's not going to bat 375. We know that.
Right.
But he is a heck of a center fielder.
Yep.
He's Jacoby Jones. He is our boy that's but he can hit.
Could he be Pete Crow Armstrong?
He can be close.
Yeah.
He's got a great I've already watched. He's walked how many times? 7, 8 times already walked?
Yeah. He makes all the plays in center field.
Oh, he made a nice play, diving, twisting play, got up and was ready to gun the guy back, going back to first. No, he's got some ball skills. He's very good. Green's a serviceable left fielder, and if you put a great center fielder, you don't need to ask your corner outfielders to do much. Just don't miss the balls down the line,
right?
And I'll get everything else. And he looks like that kind of center fielder.
So I'm looking at the Tigers' schedule the rest of the way, right? And we talked about the 3 games with the Dodgers here.
Mm-hmm.
But after
it gets much easier.
It does. After this series with the Mariners, so they beat last night 8-0. Then they get
beat the next 2 nights.
Yeah, well, they get the Giants for 3. Then
who are
they
in
have,
bad shape.
That's right.
Oh, and Jackson Jobe is pitching this weekend.
There you go.
Now, should he be a starter or should he be their closer?
I don't know. I'm looking at Cater Montero as being a closer.
Would you? But that would be between the two of them.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have start? Who would you have close?
I think that Montero is good in the first inning. So I don't know. I got to see what Jackson Jobe's condition is. You know.
Okay. We'll hold on to that question.
Okay. So now I'm going through the schedule, and then next week you get the Guardians and White Sox coming in for two of the most important series that have been played in Comerica. Then they're on the road again with the Pirates. Then they're on the road with the Royals. Then they get the Rays, winningest team in the American League, but a team the Tigers swept in Tampa Bay. Then
so we're hoping for 2 out of 3 from that.
That would be good. Then you have the Twins. You're back on the road for the Guardians. You get the Twins again. You get the Rockies in Detroit. The Blue Jays, White Sox. You get the Nats in Detroit. That should be fun. And then the Pirates in Detroit. So as you look at this schedule, it's not exactly murderer's row. If the Tigers went 32-17 the rest of the way, okay, which is basically winning 2 out of 3, not quite.
Right.
32-17, they would be 87-75, and they would win all of the over bets that people already ripped up their tickets in May, right? When they were 6-22, they
6-22.
Yeah, they could come back,
oh my God,
and all those people would cash. They would all collect on the over. Can you believe that?
I've got a ticket in. Trust me, I'm still waiting. I've got $100 waiting to be come back my way. So
you said 95 and 67 or something, right?
Well, I did way back before the injuries and all the crap, and no one explained May to me before the season happened.
Right, that's right.
No one explained May to me, and no one can still explain May to me. But no, I think they're definitely going to overcome the wild card.
Okay, they're going to win the division.
And as you like to refer to them as American League cesspool, I think they can. There's no one who's playing better than the Tigers right now. Nobody.
Boston.
In that. Okay, I'm sorry. In that division.
Nobody.
So if they keep winning series, win 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Give me a 9-game winning streak. Just give me a 9-game winning streak, and they're going to win the division. I don't even care where the 9 games are.
Are you going to go down and see the Guardians or the White Sox next week?
I don't have a plan right now. I've got to talk to my son.
Okay.
We had mentioned earlier, but I would love to go down. Oh, because they need my help. I know they do.
All right, Fred Thompson, diehard Tigers fan, and when we're doing some more Drive with Jack remotes, which we hope to be doing this fall, you're going to see Fred Thompson sitting front and center, probably with a beverage.
It sounds like there's going to be a little bit of some visiting football towns, and you had a guy from Perry, a guy from Weberville, so we got Ingham County covered.
There you go.
And my kids went to Williamston, so I'm telling you, staying in Ingham County, you got us.
We're strong in that conference, no question. All right, want to thank all of our guests today, starting with Rod Barmack. The Final Four is not on the schedule. A lot of people are starting to put it on the schedule, Rob. It's not on the schedule, but could get on the schedule. The way things are looking, Michigan State's got a great chance. I'll say that. All right. Neil Koepke, my Human Hockey website, longtime State of Michigan sports writer and long-suffering fan of the Cleveland, then Indians, now Guardians, Cleveland Browns, Toronto Maple Leafs. I think I would pay Neil not to root for my team. Eric Drummond, my good friend who is driving an ambulance from Poland to Ukraine amid all the bombs. Really appreciate him joining us there. What an incredible story by a great humanitarian. Appreciate that. Marty Makinen, my best friend, talking about the Tigers. Andrew Shauver and Fred Thompson. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great night.